That shit pissed me off so much. Oh my gosh, I hate misogyny. I hate the patriarchy. You're done. You're done. You're done.
Not only is this the person, but this is the right time. That relationship was wrong.
Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at Keke Palmer and her toxic relationship.
What does it mean for something to be traumatizing is it shocks you. You know, that's what fame did to my family and the popularity and the money and it just shocked us. It was a shock that I could make that much money.
We look at these celebrities and we think they have the best life and they are so lucky and rich and all of that. But the dark side is it's traumatizing, especially for Keke Palmer.
I want to talk about this one moment, and it's something that happened when you were a child.
Yeah.
A traumatic event that you said you didn't even realize.
Really often mainly just think about it from an adult to a child. We don't really think about child on child, but it's something that exists, and it's, can happen usually in family because kids are left alone. So that's why I didn't know it wasn't an adult. It was not this sinister event. It was something that I felt was weird, but I didn't know really how to place it. I just knew I had all these weird feelings and thoughts, and it felt a little bit out of control and overwhelming. And I remember at a very young age, I was like 5 or 6, I would start praying, to help me to just, I don't want to think about these things or feel this way, or what is this about?
If it's not something that you're comfortable with, something you know, and as a kid, you're not supposed to know about all of these things. Like, you're not supposed to be exposed to that in any way, even from someone who is the same age as you. It's too soon, and the body's not ready for it, the mind's not ready for it, and it would just cause a lot of fear and trauma.
And then when I was 12, I was reading in a book, and it started saying all these things about anxiety and, hypersexualization and all of this stuff that I attributed to me. But really, it was because of what I had experienced.
The thing a lot of women don't realize is if you go through something that you're not supposed to be experiencing, it can actually make you very hypersexual. That can manifest in many ways. You can be very provocative in the way you speak. You can use sex as something that is somewhat of a trophy or an achievement, and you want to share it with people. You want to talk about it. You want to have lots of sex. You want to dress in a way that really kind of exudes sex appeal. Even this idea of a woman having lots of partners, this is what I have to offer the world, and I'm going to emphasize it to the nth degree. Hypersexualization is something I went through, and it took me a long time to even realize that the way I was behaving wasn't actually helping me in my life in terms of making me feel safe. It was doing the exact opposite. And the way I was portraying myself was actually because of what happened to me as a child. So it can definitely be insidious, and with all the liberation that's being promoted these days, it's hard to tell whether you genuinely feel like you want to show your body or if it's part of this idea that you have to put yourself out there in that way because you believe that that's all there is to you.
We don't know sometimes what has happened to us, especially if it doesn't look the way that the world has told you it looks like. And I think it can come with situations like that or even more severe stuff until you read about something and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I felt like that. Is that what happened to me?
When you're a kid, it's very easy to write something off, or not even write it off, but because you don't understand it, you just kind of shove it, deep, you bottle it up. You're just like, this was weird and I don't want to deal with it. So you just kind of, pretend it never happened. As kids, we feel like adults are there to protect us and we cannot actually take care of ourselves. When we're in that moment, it's like there's nobody else here. Like, no one can stop this. I can't stop it. I'm a kid.
In my life when love first came, I was really young, and I was trying to balance between being really young but also feeling quite mature, quite old. So I felt quite aged, and I was emotionally dealing with a lot. I probably should have been talking to somebody.
A lot of kids don't even experience the beauty of childhood because certain life circumstances force them to mature and become an adult, and just kind of skip that process, which can later come back in a crazy way.
I was about 15, when I first fell in love. I was 15, he was 20. I think it grew me a lot. And again, I think it's another version of like not realizing what you've experienced or what you've been through and how it's affected you. I even think the way that I would look at what was appropriate and what wasn't appropriate was based off of that relationship. Because if I thought it was inappropriate, then I wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? Or if I felt it was really, you know what I mean? But obviously, I should have been 15 dating no 20-year-old. There's nothing that really makes it right.
Her experience with a 20-year-old while being a 15-year-old girl, because really that's what you are at 15, it's a lot. Like, she sees it as inappropriate now, whereas at the time she didn't realize. And that is, once again, another thing that can happen. You feel like you're a woman. So if you are with somebody who is 20, it just feels normal. You probably feel like, oh, wow, like, he's interested in me. Like, other girls my age, have those stinky boys and, boys, whereas I have a man.
I wasn't mentally able to process and understand things that would have made that relationship appropriate. And I don't think I really realized that until I had an appropriate relationship where somebody gave me the space to even look at things for real. Not that I didn't love that person, but I felt what it was like for someone to love me back and to actually give me respect, that I realized that relationship was wrong. When we met each other and we had fallen in love, it was very much so, this is the time. Not only is this the person, but this is the right time.
Keke started viewing relationships very differently when she was older, when she met Darius. And at the time, she believed that this was the guy for her.
When Usher entered the picture.
Ultimately, I was doing what I do as an entertainer, as I was creating a fun moment. That's what he does with every entertainer that comes to his show. How it became a genuine storyline of that me and Usher are in love or me and Usher have something going on. I don't know how it got there. But usually, as we all know, things are never really what they say.
If you need a refresher, here it is.
Darius posted. What was your reaction?
Okay, so that is fair. There are some guys who are comfortable with their women showing skin, a lot of skin, no skin, whatever it is. And that's something that the woman and the man should decide together. If it is a boundary for him, is this something that she also agrees with or she's willing to compromise on? It's not about a man telling you how to dress and you obeying. It's like, why is it important to him? Why is it important to her? How can you kind of navigate this as a couple? For Darius, showcasing booty cheeks seems like trying to get attention. And as a mum and a wife, it ain't on. That's just how he feels. And that is perfectly okay. It's not about whether it's right or wrong. It's about how do the people in the relationship feel.
Was at a photo shoot. And everybody was looking all weird. I was like, are y'all good? And then I randomly was on my phone and I saw a Shade Room post of the comment, and I was honestly just shocked. That was all. I was just like, okay. And then it continued, and then I didn't have no words. And it's not reality. I didn't want to engage with something that wasn't reality. So I kind of just became removed. And then at that point for me, I kind of just wanted it to not exist in the workspace, because ultimately that's what it is for me. In my opinion, I was just at a concert. I don't know how anybody else receives that. whether they know me or whether they're online. It was not that reality for me.
She went to a concert. She wore what she wanted. She didn't think anything of it. She was just a woman at a concert. Like she said, it wasn't her reality. And you can't blame her for saying that, because maybe she genuinely didn't think that it was going to be a big deal and it's going to make the front page news. Maybe she didn't think that. Hypersexualization, just to go back to that, it's hard to tell whether you genuinely feel like you want to show your body because it's something that you genuinely feel good about, or if it's part of this idea that you have to put yourself out there in that way because you believe that that's all there is to you.
It got so out of control, and the only way that you know how to bring order or control to something is the court. I mean, that's literally what it's there for.
Keke Palmer and her ex, Darius, they got involved in a crazy custody battle, and there were accusations thrown all around. When two people are in a relationship, they experience it very differently from each other. So you can't really say who did what and who's to blame, because two people in a relationship means both are responsible for the relationship. I feel like a lot of the time one person gets the blame over the other person. Typically it's the man over the woman, because the woman is seen as vulnerable and, she's usually protected in general, but doesn't mean the woman is innocent. It looks like Keke Palmer has connected a lot of the dots between childhood and growing up and being an adult, and how all of that is intertwined. I do feel like it's easy to see everything as independent and completely miss the clues that are in your past. So it's good to see that Keke Palmer is taking account of the fact that there were certain things that she grew up with and she experienced that shaped who she is now. Doesn't mean that she knows everything. It just means that she is a lot more self-aware than she was, and she has learned a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, because we want to make this a healthy relationship era. Mwah. Bye.